He had a conflict, so I do have to hop off at 12:30.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
I appreciate you making time for us. Um, it's the value of having someone from the current on this call is huge for us. So we're
Yeah,
very
I mean, maybe we could start if you all could give me just a brief rundown of the collaborative and
sure. So about 3 years ago, both Adrian and I were invited to take on the co-leadership of the sports sector for the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, which has now been rebranded as Get Move Together KC. And at the time, we didn't quite know what we were getting ourselves into, but we both had a passion for what we were trying to get accomplished with the connection between kids and sports. And when we met with the group at Children's Mercy Hospital, at that time they were called the Weighing In Division. Now they're called the Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. Both Robin and his team, made up of some people that aren't with the group anymore, but Shelly Summer and now Natalie and Katie have presented to us a plan that had already had progressed to a certain point. There were already a strategy in place that the sports sector in general was going to use kind of target youth sports as the area that the sports sector was going to focus on. And so that's why he and I were both invited. Adrian's background, he can kind of give you a little idea of what he spent his life doing. But for the last 35 years, he's been involved in engaging the community around sports, youth sports development. And for the last 5 years, I've been trying to help kids play sports with the development of a nonprofit called Sharewaves. And so we were like-minded and had a passion for kids and knew that there was a great opportunity and that kids in under-resourced communities were not getting the same access and same quality of engagement that kids with resources had. And it was very clear that we had something powerful that we could push forward. And we both were convinced that physical activity in and of itself, that physically moving their bodies in a group environment were really good for kids. We saw it. It happened on our teams that we coached. We both had the opportunity to coach kids with team sports, but also just watching kids go out on recess and play, or kids find ways to do free play, which, obviously we're missing out a little bit on that. But as we came together and met, we developed strategies around how to engage kids, how multi-sport participation was critical at an early age, how there was some problems with youth sports in Kansas City. We were both pretty, we recognized that there were some issues around the types of experiences kids were getting based on their zip codes and based on where they lived, that there were sports deserts and, areas of the city where absolutely no kids were getting access. And so we knew that there was something here, and the affiliation with Children's Mercy Hospital and the opportunity to work with the cross sector of Kansas City's community activists across the city. There's 9 other sectors. There were at the time 9 other sectors. Now I think there's a 10th sector, ranging from business sector to parks and rec sector to school sector to early childhood sector to church sector. Just all different types of leaders coming together to try to use physical activity to change our city. And so as we've developed our relationship and developed our strategies, one of the things that kept ringing true was there was a group nationally that was trying to do some of the same things that we were trying to do locally, and they were the Aspen Institute. And so we took it upon ourselves to push forward this idea that we would bring the Aspen Institute to Kansas City to conduct one of the 14th community report, state of play for our city. They've done 13 other states of play across the United States, and these are comprehensive qualitative and quantitative research initiatives that have been funded privately to try to tell the story of what's happening with youth sports in Kansas City. And the primary tool that they use to gather their data is a survey, a 27-question survey that's offered to kids throughout the city. And so far, we have over 5,000 kids that have taken our survey in the last 3 months as the Aspen Institute has come to Kansas City and started the process of gathering this research. Every time they've produced one of these reports, and it would be great if we could share a copy with you of one of the other cities that has, or communities that have done this report, but it has been a transformative piece of data that has been able to rally certain communities around what it means to have play equity and have fairness in sports and have equal access to the quality of sports that kids deserve. And so we have, as a team, have kind of looked at this engagement with the Aspen Institute as a really a rallying point for the whole city to gather around and sit around and talk about what it means to have play equity, not only amongst the different areas of our city that experience less than, but also between boys and girls too. And so there's a lot of opportunities for us to bring really smart people that love kids to come together and continue the discussion. On April 8th, we'll have the first Aspen Institute State of Play Summit, Sports Summit, where we'll present some of the initial findings of the research that they've done and start to lay out a plan for how we're going to bring the information into a document that we can all share and be a part of. And it's a really exciting time to be able to talk more about what it means to ensure that all youths have the opportunity to have quality sports engagement and physical activity, no matter their social economic background or their disabilities that they might be facing, any struggles, anything in their life, and knowing that there's so much to the power sports has to impact a child's life. We're just all really excited to have this opportunity. Adrian, would you help add anything? You're on mute.
You think as much as I use this process, I'd noticed that. Anyway, like Bill said, thank you so much for coming on. And I was just telling Natalie, my wife and I walked down there by the new field, and I said, don't tell nobody. We be trying to sneak through the fence. That thing is beautiful, but I mean, all jokes aside, Bill hit the nail on the head. It is imperative, especially after COVID, when you look at all the data that shows how much COVID really impacted, children, youth, and teens when it comes to physical activity, and especially when we're talking about girls. We got some situations over in District 500 right now where our girls basketball season was really hitting. It was so bad that 2 high schools had to come together to make one team. And I'm a dot kid all day. I'm a Bulldog, Wyandotte, and I mean it just really hurts your heart to see how there's a lot of talk about youth, and there's a lot of talk about next generation, et cetera, but you just don't see the dollars that go with it, because this stuff does cost, you know what I mean? And so programs like ours, programs like what Bill is doing, and a lot of other people that are doing this work, it's like I said, 36 years for me. This is my 36th year with coaching and all that, but there's this slow it's digressing. It's not improving, let alone with the need for the volunteerism needs are down. I mean, everything is like such a negative, and yet you have so many people whose hearts are just devoted to these children, youth, and these families. And so being a part of this initiative, this nationwide initiative that puts I'm gonna use the word some oomph under it. Like this is really not a game. There are people around the country really pushing legislatively, pushing locally, challenging local leadership as far at partner pressing the partnerships with school districts to do the work that we're talking about doing. So it's really a blessing and an honor to be a part of this, and to have people like Shelley will introduce herself in a moment with Children's Mercy, and I mean there's some power in this right here that Casey United or Shareways probably couldn't have had on their own. And so being a part of this, when you present it and they say Children's Mercy, yeah. And then when you see the state of play and you see the KCPA the program, I mean, it's really high quality. And so it's really an opportunity to really shift what we think is the current mindset of people seeing the need for physical activity as it ties into social emotional, as it ties into, I mean, you already, I'm preaching to the choir, but there's a passion here that is really, that I haven't found in doing this work for a long time. I haven't found this kind of passion. So I think that's the only thing I would add to it. Having you here with the current and other people really, I think, solidifies the work that we want to do, the work that we're doing, and it becomes a we. It's not just, you know what I mean? It's not just the current. It's not just Children's Mercy. It's us coming together on both sides of the bridge. Kansas, I'm on KCK, and everything else is pretty much Kansas City, Missouri, but it's the surrounding area, Johnson County, Shawnee. So the effort is much, much appreciated. It was more than appreciated. And hoping that, maybe perhaps we can come back to some more meetings and see what we're talking about, because I know you're on a short time frame. But just hearing this and getting more information might stir you to say, maybe we should really look at or consider how might this be not just a partnership, but a relationship to help us all do the same thing, which is to really, strengthen our children, youth, and teens.
Well, yeah, first, Bill and Adrian, thank you both for that. I don't know if I got a chance to introduce myself, but I'm DePriest Taylor. I'm the Executive Director, Community Relations for KC Current. And so thank you for having me on this call. I know that Ben Aiken has typically joined, but again, he wasn't able to join today. And it's, you talk about the inequities, and the truth is that majority of those inequities, the barriers to access to sport, whether it be transportation, whether it be fees and equipment, whatever those barriers are, we've noticed those, and we've tried to do a really good job with our partner of helping eliminate some of those barriers. But the truth is, it's systemic, and it's deeper than us just purchasing a 15-passenger van for transportation. Is deeper than that. So when I see people collectively at the table really trying to identify a solution to this problem, I'm very appreciative of that, and appreciative of Children's Mercy for stepping in and heading up this as well. You talked about it. The issue is the lack of programming that exists. I remember when I was a kid, I'm not from Kansas City, I'm from Detroit, but we had so many different opportunities to participate in many different things. And those things kept us off the streets. They kept us out of doing things that we shouldn't have been involved in. And so just thank you all for allowing us to be at the table. I'm interested in learning more. I'm not sure where Ben left off in his conversations with this group. Again, I'm coming in nose wide open, just looking to learn and hear more. But really just thank you all for having me at the table.
You're muted, Bill.
I said there's power in the KC Current brand. There's leadership. There's power in the leadership at the top of your organization. And as I've witnessed, they hire great people to come alongside and build something really special. That's why you have national and worldwide recognition for the work that you guys are doing. And the pains that we all experience, we experience in different ways. And your background coming from the area you came from, I recognize that has led you to a certain way of thinking about the world and what you come up against is a different experience than me. But universally, I think we can all agree that the ability for a kid to engage in sports and play on a team is the most positive experience out there today. That we used to develop our youth in other ways through church, and we could count on our schools, and almost all of the places that we used to hold as sacred spaces to help develop our kids are we're losing them rapidly, and that on the fields, you know, there are opportunities to impact kids in multiple ways, and kids need us now more than ever. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's programming, lack of programming and lack of funding programming, and the assumption across our city that says there's not a problem with youth sports, and that the money that goes to different causes and different things that are out there don't go to helping kids where they need help. And we have, Adrian lives it. I don't run a big program like he does. I'm trying to do little pockets of engagement and deliver, you know, small little doses. If we had more resources, we could do more. But what we really need is good plans and good partners to help execute good plans. And so I think that's where partnering with someone like Casey Current comes in, Sporting KC, Kansas City Royals, the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, even, you know, these smaller clubs like Toka FC and Global FC and you know, Heartland Soccer and GABL and Brookside Soccer, all of these organizations, all of these little entities that are doing good work for kids, we need to bring together and start planning on how we're going to find ourselves into the spaces where the kids are suffering and where they're finding their ways onto the streets and getting influenced by negative things in this world and doing negative things, making poor choices. And so anyway, I think that we just invite your life experience and your energy and your talent to the table. You know, we don't want to waste your time in any way. We never want you to feel like you're wasting your time, but we do think that the more life experiences we can get around the table to share with each other what's happening, and the more we can do engagements that we get out into the public and start showcasing what it actually means to use sports to transform young lives, the better. So the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, and now Move Together KC, has a lot of opportunities for us to bring a brand like Casey Current into the engagement and have you be a part of it. Just by being present, it helps. You know, when we go to do the April 8th engagement with the Aspen Institute at the Cultural Center, Heritage Center in Johnson County, they want 120 of the top thinkers in Kansas City around the table to hear what they have to say, and we want you there. And by you being there, it will make Sporting want to be there, and it'll make Amy Gale at the Kansas City Royals Charities want to be there, and it'll make Ann Scharf at Hunt Family Foundations want to be there. So there's power in that, and we know that. And it's one of the reasons why Adrian and I are so excited that you're here, not to just blow smoke and make you feel good, but we legitimately need people like you to show up and be at the table so that other people know how serious we're taking this and how real the answers are that we're bringing forward.
Yeah, and maybe Natalie has sent it, but what does a timeline look like? You know, I'm familiar with the Aspen Institute, did some research on some things with them in the last couple of years. But what does a timeline look like for you all in terms of this planning process, putting some plans into place, and then once you get those surveys back, implementing those? That's my
That's a
first
great
question.
question.
And then the second part of that is, who all has already been at the table? So has Ann been involved? Is her Ishmael involved? Or is Luis and Amy from the Royals, Chioma, and the team at Sporting? What's their level of engagement?
Yeah. Well, We have Lewis Mays, kind of helping. He comes from Nike. He has the background with the Aspen Institute's early beginnings, and he's a huge advocate of what it is we're doing. And Robin Shook has led some of the top leaders in the city to come to the table to be a part of it. To answer your question on the timeline, they have been conducting surveys since November. We're in the final stages of getting final data collected. That I'm thinking the end of February they'll kind of do a cutoff, and it'll be the end of the survey, with over 5,000 student athletes from across the city. Really, not even just student athletes. Any kid was eligible to take the survey. In the past, what they've done is they've done a preliminary presentation of the process and what it is they're doing. That's scheduled for April 8th. And then their hope is to have the state of play Kansas City report done by August and come back to Kansas City in August and present the findings and what that meant. There are other cities and communities that have done the state of play that we can benchmark off of and say, this is what happened as a result of the publication of the report. We can look at other reports and say, these are the recommendations that they found in Oakland or in Kings County in Seattle, Baltimore. There's one in Harlem. They did one in Hawaii. So like I said, there's 14 other reports out there that we can kind of benchmark off of. Some have fallen on flat ears, I'm sure, and some have transformed the community. The report that was done in Kings County created what they call the Play Equity Fund. The Play Equity Fund engages kids all across the city and has for the last 7 years since the report was first completed. It will be, we hope, a significant impact on how Kansas City views youth sports. I think it'll be a very eye-opening document and research the findings, along with another research project that the State of Play and the Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative has initiated with the Center of Nonprofit Leadership. They have identified throughout the city a map of where physical activity can be accessed by kids. So it'll be an entire city map of where you can go find physical activity in our city. I think my hope is one of the big findings is that you'll see that there's a lot of physical activity available to kids in Johnson County and in the outlying suburban areas, and there'll be very little available to kids inside some sphere of community. I don't know what it's going to say, but I think it's going to say that we've got a problem and it's centered right here in KCK and it's centered right here in Kansas City, Missouri. But research is power, data is power, ideas are powerful. We have people that have lived experience that can bring ideas to the table. We've looked at other cities, what they have done to help try to make the community better through sports. We have the World Cup coming to Kansas City. I think there's a huge opportunity, and we all see that as something that we want to incorporate into our discussions as we move forward, what the World Cup means to youth sports in Kansas City. I have a meeting next Thursday with Adam Lewis, who just came from Portland. He's in charge of social justice initiatives for the 2026 World Cup here in Kansas City. I'm excited to meet with him and kind of present to him the same thing I'm presenting to you. How do we do this? And I met with Neil Sharma, who's he's one of the vice chairs of the nonprofit that's bringing the 2026 World Cup to Kansas City. Neil is very adamant that we find a way to transform youth sports in Kansas City and impact under-resourced communities with the power of sports somehow, using the leverage of the 2026 World Cup. I don't know if that's the most important thing that we do. I'm certainly not naive to know that transportation and other issues that may rise to the top of the list of things that we want to accomplish with the 2026 World Cup here in Kansas City. But I hope that one of the things that we try to do is invest time and energy and talent and treasure into kids because kids need us. And there's a national mental health crisis around adolescence. Kids are killing themselves and hurting each other. The number 2 and number 3 causes of death for teenagers is suicide and homicide. So, these are things that we think that sports has a way of being integral in helping develop a community. And we learned last week how fragile our spaces are and how fragile our celebrations are and how fragile life is, and how poor choices can lead to tragic outcomes.
No, thank you for that. Before I have to hop off, is anyone from Parks and Rec included in these meetings? Who's
Yeah,
the
there's a whole
representative?
Parks and Rec group. We have Jennifer Judy from Kansas City Parks and Rec, and then we have Allison Smith from Johnson County Parks and Rec, and Shelley actually can speak a lot to the relationship we have with Parks and Rec because it's one of her kind of power alleys. So Shelley, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Shelley Summer. I feel like we've met somewhere and I'm not sure where. However, I've been at the hospital for 30 some years. I hesitate to give any more details about how long I've been there beyond that. I am the program manager for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, and we have a long history working with Parks and Rec. Primarily Wyandotte County Parks and Rec, Johnson County Parks and Rec, and Kansas City, Missouri Parks and Rec. But within Johnson County, you may already be aware of this, there are lots of city Parks and Rec organizations that work alongside the county Parks and Rec. So we have interest from those groups as well. That's a completely different sector of the physical activity plan that works alongside all of these efforts that we have collectively. Our vision is that our work is cross-sectoral. So I think that's an excellent question that you've asked. And yes, they are on board. In fact, we invite others to participate as they're able and have had Lee Summit Parks and Rec has participated in activities before. I think those are the big ones that probably sort of answer that question, but we do.
No, I asked, only reason I asked because I serve on the board I'm a commissioner for Parks and Rec, KC Mo Parks and Rec. So I
great.
just want to, one of our goals is to increase participation amongst the 10 community centers in terms of programming for young people. And so that's the reason why I asked. I do have to run, but knowing that, please use me as a resource directly for Parks and Rec. I work very closely with Chris Cotton and his team over there. So just wanted to share that. I do have to run. I'm so sorry. But thank you again for inviting me, and however I can be a resource to what you all are doing, I think this is very important. Obviously, we all get a lens when we're talking about youth sports, and my lens is a little bit different. And you see how much the inequities are. They're significant. They are significant, especially when you talk about areas where East High School is, Central High School, 31st and Linwood. I haven't been over to the DOT as much. We do a little bit of work with Banneker Elementary over in KCK. We're actually planning something with them right now. So however I can support, please let me know. And I'll loop Ben into this conversation. And I hope the other teams do get involved, because we all have some form of connection to youth sports. And I think it's important for us to use our platform and the resources that we do have access to fix this problem. So really interested in the state of play and what comes from this. So just send me all the information that you all deem important, and we'll just go from there. Natalie, I know you sent me some documents in the chat. Can you email those to me?
I sure can. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, and so nice meeting all of you. This won't be my last time on the call.
Thanks, Deprice.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Enjoy the
Thank
rest of your
you.
day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're more
Thank
than
you.
welcome.
Right. Well, that was good. That was exciting. We need more of that, obviously. What else is on the agenda? I think, know-
Yeah, it was more just to talk about the survey was gonna wrap up this month, so they need just any last pushes we all have to share on our social pages or different youth sport programming or you, as you know, on youth sport programming
Okay.
too. The summit and the registration links, I sent that to you. I wanted to check if any of you had done any personal invites to the summit.
I haven't done, I've invited Tom Watson. I'm gonna send out my personal invites, the rest of this week. By Friday, I'm gonna have mine out, so.
Okay.
I know we made a list and did you share that list with me? You have the comprehensive invite list?
And I will copy it over from the Aspens document and send it to
Okay.
you.
Or they're kind of.
Hey, Bill,
Yep.
if Tom can't make it, is there anyone, is First Tee his organization or is it a
Yeah,
separate
I
one?
mean, I'll invite Ann for sure. Ann wants to come. I already talked to her. She's the
Okay.
executive director of First Tee.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna
which is
invite.
great. I mean, at least then somebody's taking it back to Tom. Tom has a long, and you probably know this, has a long history with Children's Mercy. In fact, back in the day when we hosted events, we hosted the golf tournament with Tom Watson as the lead,
Yeah,
with
Blue
the
Hills.
Children's Mercy being the beneficiary. So there's a long
it's
history
huge.
of Tom.
He-
In fact, I think there's a statue of him. Oh, there's the ED in Kansas is named after him.
So, well, I don't know if I don't think I copied you on the email. I did copy Robin and Natalie. Did I copy you too? With Kelly Frey.
I just saw that he wasn't able to.
Yeah, so Kelly Frey, who is his personal assistant, made a point of asking me to keep him informed of what was happening and that he was very interested in knowing more about what was happening. And so that's a good sign. So we'll and Ann Spivak is the executive director of First Tee. And I'll also invite the Watson Links people too. They're starting to do some more stuff with the Watson Links program. So
Well, all of that is fantastic. And this sort of ties into the cross-sectoral relationships of all of this work. And Parks and Rec, Corporate Challenge, hosting WeLinks for kids of Corporate Challenge participants.
love it.
So
such
there
a
are
fun-
lots of, oh, and we have First Tee out in the Fantastic Family Fun Zone.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so there's a lot of things are gonna, the universes are gonna collide a little bit, like you're saying, I think, which is exciting. Which
They're going
Yes.
to align. We don't want them to collide. We want them in perfect alignment, just like the solar
yes,
eclipse that's coming.
align.
Hey, but here, if you don't believe Adrian, I hope Adrian is still on because yay God here. We are hosting the summit on the day of the full solar eclipse.
Wow.
Well,
If
that's
you don't
cool.
believe in karma, or if you believe in karma and God, take that, put that in your back pocket.
Love it.
Wow. How did that happen?
Adrian, if I have to ask you that, we may need to send you back to theology school.
Wow.
Who's Bonnie,
all-
by the way?
That's all
Can
I'm gonna say
Bonnie
on that.
introduce
That's
herself?
all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, she introduced herself before you got on, Bill.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, work at the Public Health Department up in Mercer County up in Princeton, Missouri by the Iowa border. And I'm one of the registered nurses there and working on activities for kids and trying to get kids to do something than play games in their house all the time. So
Love it.
I'm
Well,
trying to see what you guys are up to. Thank you.
thanks for joining us. Do you have any questions, or did we inform you of anything that you might plug into that might seem like a positive?
No, it's been really good information. I've been taking notes and getting some ideas, and I really appreciate you guys in Kansas City doing so many neat things, and I'm getting some ideas of other people that can kind of help us out up here in the rural community. So it's been really good.
Okay, well, that's great. The survey probably doesn't impact you, but it might be interesting for you to look at it and just see the 27 questions that we asked these kids.
Yes, how do I get access to that? I'd like to see the questions at least that are asked to see if it would benefit us up here.
Yeah, so certainly Natalie will send you a link to you can take
Yeah.
a parent, you can take your own, you can do the survey yourself. It's like a parent survey that just gives you an idea of what the kids are being asked. It's basically what sports do you like and how much do you play, and it's well thought out. So it's and the results that come back are very eye-opening. So hopefully we get that out of ours.
This link I just posted in the chat, Bonnie, is like a test link to the youth survey, so it wouldn't actually be going to our data set, but you could go through and answer it like you were a kid filling it out.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then, so that's good. Thank you.
So this sheet that I'm looking at, this is where we write down people we want to invite. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only people that aren't on here are some of our like internal sports sector like providers. I haven't copied them over yet, so there's a few of them that aren't on this list too.
Okay.
I had to request access.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Can I ask again, how was the response from the KCK District 500 side? Did it get better? Has it gotten any better since the last time we talked?
They haven't really given me updates on that.
Who was your contact again, please?
At the KCK, well, several people, because we had a meeting with like the director of public health for the district and
Wow.
Sam, is it Simmons or Simmons?
Sam Simmons. Yeah, he's the new AD. Right.
Yeah, him with Christine, and they handed it off to the communications department to go out.
Which would
And
be
it
Edward Birch.
supposedly did.
If you can email me those names, I will follow up. I just got off the phone with Edwin Birch about 2 hours ago, so I will gladly follow up to see what we can do to get some of our students. And if anything, I'll say that we'll go to Bishop Ward. You know what I mean? If that's a phone call, and we'll get some student impact insight from kids from KCK. So either way, if District 500 is what it is, we'll go to the other high school and we'll get it done.
I think when you and I talked, I mentioned that they're having a little difficulty with that because of that law they passed in Kansas for surveying that you need parent consent. So they got around that by sending it out in a parent survey. So really the only other way we would be able to get students was if it was like after school programming or like in-person survey.
I mean, because I sit on the board of Bishop Ward, so I can go there and do that. If that's a way of getting around it, we can do it. You just let me know. Just give me the nuances of what I can and cannot do, so I don't get in trouble or get us in trouble. I'm notorious for doing stuff and asking for forgiveness later, but can't do that no more. So tell me what I need to do so I can stay in Shelley's good graces.
Love it.
I guess what is helpful for me then, just to send you a flyer with the links that you can promote it within those groups.
Gotcha. Done. Consider it done. And I'll probably blind copy you on it when I send it, just so you know who it's sent to. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill, as you go through and invite people in that far left column, would you check that you have already sent it to them so that we're not all
Correct.
sending it multiple times?
Yeah. let me know, let's spend a little bit of time on this list, just so I know. Oh, I guess there's is there? Priority invite?
Those are,
Um,
I think Robin just, when he had a minute, went through and marked some people that he wanted to
Okay.
make sure, but he hasn't had like a ton of time to review it himself.
Okay, so if it doesn't have a Y by it, they're not invited yet, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and has Wesley Hamilton responded?
I
To be
don't know that.
sure.
We did get an email that Kathy Nelson has said that she will participate in the opening panel.
Awesome,
So that's cool. Yeah.
that's huge. Okay, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Feel free to share that information if that helps recruit people.
no, it definitely does. Yeah, she's the most powerful person in our city. besides
Have you
Patrick
guys
Mahomes.
seen the draft of the agenda? I wanted to share that with you too.
I think I saw it.
Okay, if we had it.
Yeah.
It's not final or anything because
no,
there's
that-
still
yeah, that was great.
back and-
Okay.
Okay. Adrian, had you seen it?
No,
Have they already asked you, Adrian, to participate in that panel? I saw your name on there when I was looking it over.
yeah, I got a, yes.
Yeah, they did. Okay. I think the kids and a lot of the people they're inviting are ones that they'd interacted with their focus groups when they did them here in Kansas City.
Love it.
Yeah.
So there is, wow, I'm surprised I don't see the Chiefs on there. With all the work they've done. Okay,
Well, we don't have Tom Watson, so that can come off.
Yeah.
We probably could ask Mark Donovan, but let me know.
You think he would be the next person we might prioritize?
I mean, if we want the Chiefs, and Sharf might do it if I asked her. But if with that list with Frank White and Chris and Angie Long, it seems like having Mark Donovan would be pretty powerful. But
Yeah.
you know, if Kathy Nelson is leading it or is on it, you're pretty highly likely. I can tell that. I mean, I could tell you that would mean something to Mark Donovan for sure.
And do you
And if
think
not-
he is someone that could speak well to that topic?
Mark Donovan,
Yeah.
yes.
Can we
I-
get,
I
So,
think Mark Donovan
Bill-
could speak well. Go ahead.
do you know Mark?
I do. I mean, I've sat on a board with him before.
Okay. Okay, well, because the
I'm-
other people that can ask them would be Dave Borchardt and or Kathy Nelson,
Correct. And
which
if we
would
wanna
be
get
an
Borchardt-
outstanding invitation.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to say no to Kathy if she asked, so maybe it's
Right.
better that he asks. I can either mention that Kathy's on the panel. Will you email this this agenda to me? But I can either do that or I can or we can ask Kathy to invite him. Why don't
I don't know if they want us to share this out since they haven't confirmed these people, so I wouldn't want to
Oh,
like.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So Chris and Angie Long, I can ask them too. So if they haven't been asked, then I'm
Okay.
very close.
Bill, I think I'm gonna follow up with John Solomon and CC you on it, and then offer what
Okay.
your help with reaching out if they haven't
Okay.
been making that connection.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he was all about asking me to ask Tom, so
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. I'll do that. I think that, yeah, those are the big things for the invite list and getting all those finalized, hopefully this week. Adrian, I don't know if I really got input from you, if I missed someone or if there was someone that you wanted to make sure I invited.
I mean, as of right now, the new Parks and Rec director at KCK, I haven't met with her yet.
That's not Angel, is it?
No, I don't think so.
There's a
New person?
Yeah,
Hmm.
really like brand new. Like,
Oh,
let me see if I can pull it up.
what
would
about
be-
anybody from your board, Adrian, like Gary Spaney or,
Well, yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to Gary in a while, but Gary would be a great connect to invite to that. They go through interns, like they flip them like pancakes, like every 6 months. So once you get a good relationship with one, then there's another one. And so Gary has been the only one who has been consistent. So Gary Spaney, if he's still there, I don't know, is he still there, Shelley? Do you know?
no, I don't know.
Okay. I like I said, we haven't talked to him in a while. Doug Wiesner, KU, he's over he provided all of our athletic trainers for the last 7 or 8 years. He would be great to invite to that. IESNER. I can send you his information.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great.
he's at KU Med in their athletic training department. He's
Yep,
part of their sports medicine program that supports
yep.
all
And
of
then,
this.
yep. And Mr. Simmons, I I can talk to
Yeah.
y'all. We can shoot straight. I've set up 4 meetings with him, and that just something always comes up. So I'm gonna charge it to a lot of stuff going on at the district. But I would still invite him, and um, I'll just make a list of some folks from the district who need to be there. Some
Okay.
a couple of folks from Bishop Ward that need to be there that will come. I know they will come. A couple of folks, Edgar Galicia from the KCK Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I know he will come. Like I said, once
Maybe I
we're
need to
done
have
here,
you send these invites because I have emailed him probably 5 times and can't get a response from him.
from Edgar,
Yeah.
wow, that is you know what? That's all I'm gonna say. That's amazing. I'm gonna just leave it at that. That's
It wasn't related to this project though, so maybe if you
oh,
have a personal interest in this.
right. Yeah, that what about there's a gentleman at Home Fields by the name let me see if you have his name. Okay. Because they've been getting more out in the community and let me see. His last name is Lewis. Let me get it for you. I could give you his email right here.
That'd be great. Is it Dustin? I don't have his email, but I've got his name here on our screen.
Yeah, okay. D Lewis at homefieldkc.com.
Dustin, I can get Dustin.
Okay.
Okay, that's who I got hit there. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna invite this person from the World Cup too. And I'm gonna invite Neil Sharma too.
Okay. Oops. save Bonnie some time of listening to this conversation, I might just wrap up the rest of what's on this agenda if we want to talk about this list more. But our Kansas City quarterly meeting registration's open for our March meeting on the 14th. Let me put the link to that in the chat. The presentation for that will be from Dr. Amanda Grimes, Michael Kelly, and Maddie Pilla. They're going to talk about their findings from a project carried out focusing on neighborhood walking environments around bus stops in the Kansas City metro area. At those meetings, they're hybrid, so they're in person as well as virtual. We have them at the Kauffman Center Foundation. And each of our sectors will also give updates during that meeting. And then the other thing on the agenda was that the Aspen Institute State of Play registration is open. That conference is going to be in Baltimore this year in May, May 14th through the 15th. I am registered to go to that again. And just to remind people to submit video and written responses for our video ask for our Move Together KC campaign.
Okay.
And
You want us to submit a short video, is that right?
that would be great because we have not had a lot of video submissions. We've had all written ones.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna do one.
we can do that.
Hey, and I'm just going to mention this because we heard it yesterday. We've gotten a little bit of feedback that it's challenging to submit the video. We don't know why. So if you have any challenges actually submitting the video, let us know because we'll go back to Overflow and tell them that for whatever reason, the format's not working for us. We need a different format.
I'll let you know.
But thanks. That's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And you're right, Shelley. Angel Ferrara
Yeah.
is a department head. So, do you have her, Natalie?
Yes, I've got her.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and it was brought up yesterday in our core work group meeting about Corporate Challenge possibly doing a component this year where they would collect sports equipment donations. And so they are looking at, I guess, the best avenues for collecting and distributing them, and also determining what the need is in community organizations or schools to make sure they're just not getting equipment people don't need or want, and it's getting in the right hands. So if Adrian, you know any organizations or yourselves or people within KCK that you know, you might throw their names out.
Okay. Yeah, that as far as youth football, primarily it's going to be cleats, helmets, and
And
stuff
so
like that.
Adrian, if we could get cleats and helmets, could you distribute them to kids?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what we're trying to
Absolutely.
set up first. We
Absolutely.
need to know
Yes.
that we have distribution channels before we make asks, because we don't want to
Absolutely.
ask for equipment and then not have a way to get rid of it. I don't mean get rid of it. I mean distribute it.
We would that would be we would partner probably with the Boys and Girls Club down on 13th and Parallel, and just have everybody come and set them up. They come in, pick them up, and they in and out. Yep.
Okay, so if we were collecting it, we could take it to you at KC United, and then KC United would figure out how to get it to the best people.
Yeah,
to
just
use.
if you can give me like maybe a 30-day window or a 15-day window, I can meet with the director at the Boys and Girls Club, and we'll coordinate that, and he'll give us the room. We'll get we'll get it done. Absolutely.
What
Okay,
age
well, if you can
ranges-
make sure that they would be okay with that, Adrian, we'll give you the date window.
All right.
We need to know that they're okay with that prior to us asking for equipment.
All right, I'm on it. I'll text him now.
Okay, cool.
The only other thing that I had emailed to me was from the park sector about their needing Special Olympic volunteers. For coaching in their year-round events, if anyone's got any ideas. You can let Katie and I know.
Who
Now,
wants to
and-
know?
The Special Olympics. For
Okay.
Johnson County.
Now, it's funny, it was funny that you bring it up, but then it's not, and I don't mean in the funny part, but I know we're looking to expand our league this year. One, we're gonna have an all-girls flag division. And about 7 years ago, we had a division specifically for Special Olympics, where they could come out and play flag football. And so if that's a possibility of reigniting that, I'd love to get that contact person's information, and because all we would need is maybe 4 or 5 teams, and then we could set them up to play on those same Saturdays as the other teams. So if that's possible, that'd be great.
Okay, this particular contact is through Johnson County, but I bet they know the Kansas
Okay.
person because I know their offices are in Kansas City.
All right.
Okay.
And lastly, I'll say, if you all know of any women who are interested in coaching, our church is sponsoring 2 teams this year, a flag team and a 3rd grade tackle team. I have been wanting to put together an all women's coaching staff for years. And I'm looking for, and that we'll start them at the flag division, and we'll walk with them as far as if they want to keep going every year.
Let's reach out to the Kansas City professional women's football team and see if we can get that group involved. They're
Oh
awesome.
boy. Let's do that, brother.
Yeah, they're called the Kansas City. What are they called? Oh, I'll think of it. I've got contacts there. They're
That'll work.
awesome. I did a
That'll work.
clinic. I brought in the first NFL women football coach in the history of the NFL. I brought her in to do a clinic, and they were all involved, and they were awesome. So they love the idea, and they'd love to help. So
that would be amazing. Yes,
I want
sir.
to say their last name's it's the Pioneers, but that's not it. It's the Kansas City. God, what is their name? I'll think of it anyway.
Bill, you might
yeah.
invite them to the summit too. I mean,
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll connect.
Mhm.
I'll get them. And
All right. I got to jump off here as well.
I gotta
This
go
is a good
too.
meeting.
Talk to you later.
Bonnie, good to meet you. Thank you. If
Thanks,
there's
Bonnie.
anything we can do to help, let us know.
I appreciate, thank you. I really enjoyed it today.
All right,
Bye,
Bonnie.
guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Natalie. Great job as usual. All right, Bill.
See ya.
Bye.